Everybody, today Hani is going to read a few chapters of The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, written by Loyal Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. Not far from here where I live, there is a queer old empty wooden house standing all by itself on the side of the road. I long to explore inside, but the doors is always locked. And when I peer through a window, all I can see is darkness and dust. I knew the ground floor used once to be a shop because I can still read the faded lettering across the front which says the dog rubber. My mother told me that in our part of the country, the in the olden days, a grubber was another name for a sweet shop. And now, every time I look at it, I think to myself, what a lovely old sweet shop it must have been. On the shop window itself, somebody had painted up in white the words for sale. One morning, I noticed that for sale had written scrapped off the stop shop window, and in its place, somebody had painted sold. I stood there staring at the new writing and wished like mad, that I had been me who had bought it because then I would have been able to make it into a grubber all over again. I have always longed and longed to own a sweet shop. The sweet shop of my dreams would be loaded from top to bottom with sherbet suckers and caramel fudge and Russian toffee and sugar snorters and butter gumballs and thousands of other glorious things like that. Oh boy, what I couldn't have done with that old grubber shop if it had been mine. On my next visit to the grubber, I was standing across the road gazing at the wonderful old building when suddenly an enormous bathtub came sailing out through the one of the second floor windows and crashed right on the middle of the road. A few moments later, a white porcelain lavatory pan and a wooden seat still in it came flying out of the same window and landed on a wonderful speed-learning crash just beside the bathtub. This was followed by a kitchen sink and an empty canary cage and a four-poster bed and two hot water bottles and a rocking horse and a sewing machine and goodness knows what else besides. It looked as though some madman was ripping out the whole of the inside of the house because now pieces of staircase and bits of the banisters and a whole lot of old floorboards came whistling through the windows. But then there was silence. I waited and waited, but not another sound came from within the building. I crossed the road and stood right under the windows and called out, "Is anybody at home?" There was no answer. In the end of it began to get dark, so I had to turn away and start walking home. But if you can bet your life, nothing was going to stop me from hurrying. Back there again tomorrow morning to see what the next surprise was going to be. When I got to the rubbish house the next morning, the first thing I noticed there was a new door. The dirty old brown door had been taken out, and in its place someone had fitted a brand new red one. The new door was fantastic. It was twice as high as the other one could have had been, and it looked ridiculous. I couldn't begin to imagine who would want a tremendous tall door like that in his house unless it was a giant. As well as this, somebody had scraped away the sold notice on the shop window, and now there was a whole lot of different writings all over the grass. I stood there reading it and trying to figure out what on earth all it meant. I tried to catch some sign or sound of movement inside the house, but there was none, until all of a sudden, out of a corner of my eye, I noticed that one of the windows on the top floor was slowly beginning to open outwards. Then a head appeared at the open window. I stared at the head. The head stared back at me with big, round, dark eyes. Suddenly, a second window was flung wide open, and all of a crazy thing, a gigantic white bird hopped out and perched on the windowsill. I know that one because it is because of its amazing beak, which was shaped like a huge orange-colored basin. The pelican looked down at me and sang out, "Oh, how I wish for a big fat fish! I am as hungry as ever could be. A dish of fish is my only wish. How far are we from the sea?" "We are a long way from the sea," I called back to him. "But there is a fishmonger in the village and not far away." "A fish what?" "A fishmonger." "Now, what on earth would that be?" asked the pelican. "I have heard of a fish pie and a fish cake and a finger, but I have never heard of a fishmonger. Are these mongers good to eat?" This question baffled me a bit, so I said, "Who is your friend on the next window?" "She's the giraffe," the pelican answered. Is is she not wonderful? Her legs are on the ground floor and her head is looking out of the top window. Oh, if I all As if all this wasn't enough, the window on the first floor now flung open wide and popped out a monkey. The monkey stood on the windowsill and did a juggly little dance. It was so skinny it seemed to be only made out of furry bits of wire. But it danced wonderfully well, so I clapped and cheered as it did and did a little dance myself in return. "We are the window cleaners," sang out the monkey. "We will polish your glass till it's shining like brass, and it sparkles like sun on the sea. We're quick and polite. We will come day or night, the Giraffe and the Pelly and me. We are a fabulous crew. We know what to do, and we never stop work to drink tea. All your windows will glow when we give them a go, the Giraffe and the Pelly and me. Use water and soap, plus some kindness and hope. But we never use letters, not we. Who needs letters at all when you're 30 feet tall? Not Giraffe and not Pelly, not me." I stood there enthralled. Then I heard the giraffe saying to the pelican in the next window, "Pelly, my dear, it is so good to fly down and bring that small person up here to talk with us." At once the pelican spread its huge white wings and flew down to the road beside me. "Hop in," he said, opening his enormous beak. I stared at the great orange beak and backed away. "Go on!" the monkey shouted from up of the window. "The Polly isn't going to swallow you. Come in." I said to the pelican, "I'll only get in if you promise not to shut your beak once I'm inside." "You have nothing to fear," cried the pelican. "And let me tell you why. I have a very special beak. A special beak I have a special beak have I. You'll never see a beak so fine. I don't care where you go. There's magic in this beak of mine. Hop in and don't say no." "I will not hop in," I said, "unless you swear of your honor you won't shut it once I'm inside. I don't like a small dark places." "When I have done what I am about to do," said the pelican, "I won't be able to shut it. You won't seem to understand how my beak works." "Show me," I said. "Watch this," cried the pelican. I watched in amazement as the top half of the pelican's beak began to slide smoothly backwards in his head until the whole thing was almost out of sight. "It bends and goes down into the back of my neck," cried the pelican. "Is that not sensible? Is that not magical? It's unbelievable." I said, "It's exactly like one of those metal tape measures my father got at home. When it's out, it's straight. When you slide it back, it bends and disappears." "Precisely," said the pelican. "You see, the top half is of no use to me unless I am chewing fish. The bottom half is that counts, my lad. The bottom half is the glorious beak of mine. It's the bucket in which we carry our window cleaning water. so I didn't slide the top path away. I'd be standing around all day long holding it open. So I slide it away for the rest of my day. Even so, I'm still able to speak. And whenever I'm flown, it has always been known as the pelican's painted beak. If I want to eat fish, that's my favorite dish. All I do is give it a tweak. In the blink of an eye, out it pops, and then cry, it's the pelican's painted beak. Stop showing off! And down there, shouted the monkey from the upstairs window. Hurry up and bring the small person up to us. The giraffe is waiting. I climbed into the big orange beak, and with a swift of wings, the pelican carried me inside to his perch on the windowsill. The giraffe looked out of a window at me and said, How do you do? What is your name? Billy, I told her. Well, Billy, she said, we need your help. We need it fast. We must have some windows to clean. We've spent every penny we have on buying this house, and we've got to earn some more money quickly. The Pelly is starving, and Monkey is famished, and I am perishing with hunger. The Pelly needs fish, and the monkey needs nuts, and I am even more difficult to feed. I am a carnivorous giraffe, and a carnivorous giraffe cannot eat anything except the pink and purple flowers of the tinkle tinkle tree, and those, as I am sure you know, are hard to find and expensive to buy. The pelican cried out, "Right now I am so hungry I could eat a stale sardine." Has anyone seen a stale sardine or a bucket of rotten cod? I'll eat lot up on the spot. I was such a hungry bod. Every time the pelican spoke, the beak I was standing in jiggled madly up and down, and the more excited I got, the more it jiggled. The monkey said, "What Pelly really crazy about is salmon." "Yes, yes!" cried the pelican. "Salmon! Oh, glorious salmon! I dream about it all day long, but never get any." "And I dream about walnuts," shouted the monkey. "A walnut fresh from the tree is scrumptious and glumptious, so flavory, savory, so sweet to eat that it makes me all wobbly just thinking about it." And exactly at that moment, a huge white low rise pulled up right below us, and a sharpler in a blue and gold uniform got up. He was carrying an envelope in one gloved hand. "Good heavens," I whispered. "That's the Duke of Hampshire's car." "Who is he?" asked the giraffe. "He's the richest man in England," I said. The shuffler locked in the door of the cobbler. He looked up and saw us. He saw the giraffe, the Pelly, and the monkey and me all staring down at him from above. But not a miracle moved his face, not an eyebrow was raised. The shufflers of very rich men are never surprised by anything they see. The shuffler said, "His Grace the Duke of Hampshire has instructed me to deliver this envelope to Leatherless Window Cleaning Company." "That's us!" cried the monkey. The giraffe said, "Be so good as to open the envelope and read us the letter." The shuffler unfolded the letter and began to read. "Dear Sirs, I saw your notice as I drove by this morning. I have been waiting for a decent window cleaner for the last 50 years, but I have not found one yet. My window has 677 windows in it, not counting the greenhouse, and all of them are filthy. Kindly come to see me as soon as possible. Yours truly, Hansfire." That, added the shuffler in a voice filled with awe and respect, was written by His Grace the Duke of Hampshire in his own hand. The giraffe said to the shuffler, "Please tell His Grace the Duke that we will be with him as soon as possible." The shuffler touched his cap and got into the Rolls Royce. "Whoopee!" shouted the monkey. "Fantastic!" cried the pelican. "That must be the best window cleaning job in the world."